Welcome back. In this session, we are going to learn how to make the Waterbomb base and the preliminary fold. These two folds are very, very similar in the way that they're folded and the way that they're executed. And in fact, if you flip the Waterbomb base around and reverse all of the creases, it becomes a preliminary fold. And if you flip the preliminary fold around, likewise, and change it and reverse all of the folds, it turns into a Waterbomb base. Okay, so we're going to teach you this in two different ways. One way that I like to teach because I think it's easier, and the second way I like to teach because I think it's important to learn that skill. All right, so Waterbomb base and preliminary fold. All right, first we're going to just start with our regular square. You're going to take your regular square and you're going to fold it in half along a diagonal, like so. And you should already have this if you're folding from a regular sheet of 9 by 12 paper in my classroom. Okay, now you have that diagonal line. You're going to fold again from corner to corner so that you have another diagonal line. And in my class, I often call this the origami X, although that is not necessarily an official term for it. It's just, I call it the origami X because, well, it makes an X. All right, and you'll notice that these two are valley folds. Then you need to flip your model over, and if you don't flip your model over at this point, it will not work later. Okay, so here we have the model so that there's a mountain fold and a mountain fold along the diagonals. Now you're going to take the bottom edge and flip it up to the top and valley fold along from the bottom to the top edge. This is also sometimes called a book fold because, you know, it opens and closes like a book. Okay? Then open it and do another book fold from the right hand edge to the left hand edge. And I often call this the origami T because, well, it makes a T across the center of your paper. If you do it correctly, all of those lines should converge right in the center of your paper. These diagonals should be mountains, and these horizontals from edge to edge should be valleys. Okay, now if we flip it over one more time, like this, I call this center the magic button. And if you push on that magic button, and it's like truly standing up like this, and you push on this magic button, and all of those creases then reverse, you can hold here with your thumbs, pull your index fingers down like this, and squish it into a Waterbomb base. Okay. Now, with that Waterbomb base, let me try it one more time. Here's our magic button. You press the magic button, then thumbs at the bottom, index fingers at the side, and pull these 2 points down to the center. Then squish the hand down on top and realign those creases. Now this is the Waterbomb base, and if we open it back up, we flip it over again, and we press the magic button. Watch what happens. Press the magic button and reverse those creases, and this will pull down into a preliminary base. So you can kind of think of the preliminary fold and the Waterbomb base as brothers, sisters, cousins. They're very closely related in that one is backwards, one is the other way. Now, we just showed you by just making simple valley and mountain folds how to do that. Set this little model aside and start with another square. And this is how I like to teach it to older kids so that they have skills for higher level folding. If you fold your paper in half one more time on the diagonal, okay, I'm going to rotate my paper this direction, and then you need to do what's called a squash fold. If you lift this paper up and fold it one more time this way to make a smaller triangle, you'll have the line down the middle. Now this is really the origami X. If I unfold my paper, I have the origami X right there that we just spoke about. Okay, but if at this point you can take this piece and you take this corner that's sticking up, and if you open your paper like this and take this point and squish it down to that point, so that those two creases line right up, you'll get a diamond shape, just like we have for our preliminary fold. Okay, now if I flip that whole model over and do the same thing, I take this triangle, stand it straight up, open it with my finger or bone folder, and align these two pieces up and squish that fold down and then recrease it. I've got my preliminary base. Okay. Likewise, you do the same thing the opposite direction and you'll have the Waterbomb base. So if I take this regular square and I fold the top edge up so that it meets the other edge. It's a book fold. I fold right to left to make a square again. Like that. Then I'm going to rotate my paper. I take this edge here and fold it, open up that little pocket. Take this line and line it up with the center here and squish it down. This is called a squash fold. I get that triangle. Flip my whole model over. Do the same thing. Take this square, lift it up, open it. Take this corner and line it up with the center and squash it down. And crease those corners. I have the Waterbomb base. Okay, so right there you've got a couple different ways to make the Waterbomb base and the preliminary fold. All right, and these you can think of as related because of one is the same kind of folds one direction and one is just reversing all those folds the other direction. So now we're going to just take the rest of the class and play around with the idea of the Waterbomb base, the preliminary fold, and how we can reverse those back and forth.